Hey guys, it's Max Convexity. How are you guys doing? I'm trying to fake being enthusiastic. I'm sick as a dog. I think I got COVID. I'm sorry I've been MIA lately. I think I did the morning report yesterday, but then I got sick yesterday afternoon and I kept intending to do the afternoon report. And then I thought, okay, I'll just do a report tonight. Let me just rest for a little while. It just kept getting worse and worse. By midnight, I was shivering in the bed. And anyway, but I'm feeling a little bit better today. So I'm sorry. I haven't let the spreadsheets go. Even when I was sick this morning, I kept the spreadsheets up to date. I learned my lesson. Once the spreadsheets get behind, it's almost impossible to catch up. So no matter what else happens, I keep the spreadsheets up to date so we can always know what the dividend is going to be. Like I always mention, that's really the only reason I do it. If it wasn't for predicting the dividend, I would quit the spreadsheets, because I don't really think it's educating that many people anymore. I used to do the spreadsheets kind of to prove how profitable these strategies were. But I think everyone understands that now. All right. When these first came out, people literally thought they were a Ponzi scheme and thought they were just giving you your own money back. And I think the spreadsheet did help with people that I think it did help. I got a lot of compliments on the spreadsheet. So, but like I said, the only reason I do it is just because of the dividend prediction. All right. Let's start here with Triple QI. Let's see what they did today. That's kind of where we always start. It's kind of my favorite fund, either that one or Triple QT. All right. So these guys sold the 18,500 strike for $155. Right now, the market's trading at 18,660. So, that means it's out of the money, which means full profit for us. $1.7 million winner right now. However, still leaves us down at $1.60 on the month, unfortunately. Now, let me make sure. Yeah. All right. This might affect it looks like some people cashed in some shares. This will help the dividend out. Looks like there's the reverse of some yield tourism. Yeah, it raised it 1% from 95 something to 96 something. Well, wait a second. There is 5708. Actually, they've added shares. Like I said, I don't feel well. Don't listen to me. All right, so that's great. These guys are doing great. Let's look at JEPY. Let's see what these guys did. You guys like that dividend estimate? All right. All right, JEPY. Oh, go watch Corey's latest video. That woman is amazing. Jay has changed the prospectus on Yield Max to uncap the upside. So now the trade-off is the dividends aren't going to be as high in the future, but we aren't going to have these nightmare cap situations like we had with Tesla on the 217.5 strike back on the December 20th expiration. Now people are still talking about that. Won't be a problem anymore. So I was enthusiastic to see about that. But go watch Corey's video. She did a great job this morning she only had one day to adjust all her formulas and stuff. And she's not an option trader, but she's really smart. Anyway, I was really impressed with her video. Go watch it this morning. It looks like aptly, not all the funds are uncapped. Jay is doing the normal strategy on some of them, but it's his discretion. But it looks like Coinbase, aptly, so Coney and aptly were uncapped. I'm still watching the video. It's on in the room. I just came out here to do this. All right, so these guys sold, there's Jackson. These guys sold this is kind of crazy. There's no such thing as a 54.83 strike, all right? I want to show this to you guys so you guys don't think I'm crazy, but I think they're using flex options, and I think maybe there is. So look at this. See, it says 4 SPX instead of SPXW like they usually use. So I think that's some kind of something that probably a flex option, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it. They just, but it says the strike is 54.83. So, and I don't think that's really the strike. I think the strike is really 54.85 or 54.80, but I think they have a different code on these flex options. Anyway, so for right now, I'll just go with what they said. It's only off by 2 points either way. So I looked at the prices and it made sense what they were saying. But anyway, if any of you guys know the answer to that, because I sure don't, I've always been a retail option trader. I've never worked on the institutional side. I think those are flex options. So, all right. But be that as it may, they sold the 54.83 strike or 80 or 85, whatever you want to look at it as, for $24. Right now, unfortunately, they're a little bit in the money. How does that happen? Let's go over here and see. Well, Russell's selling off. I had Russell on the screen, but S&P, on the other hand, is rallying and almost at the highs for the day. I was just checking to see if the volatility system went long yet, and it didn't. It's still double short. All right, well, here's the profit box. Or actually, I forgot to draw the profit box this morning, but at least the everything's up to date. We can do it. It was $25 at 54.80. I think that's probably 54.85. So that amounts to the intrinsic, because that was the in the money amount. The market was trading at 54.70 when they wrote this option, and they wrote the 54.85 or 83, whatever. So the rest of the money, remember, they received what, $24 for it? I think I said 25 because I always round up, but okay, they received $24 for it. So we just have to go down from 54.85. We have to subtract $24. So 75, 65, 65, 61. So then, I'm usually really quick with math. I'm just not feeling that. Not feeling like myself today. That was an easy one that I should have known like that. Okay. Well, anyway, there's the profit box. They are true to form. They are just a little bit inside, and that is creating a little bit of a loss. A little bit of a loss for them. So they're going for 445. They're only making 434, and they're down 86 cents a share on an earnings per share basis. However, they were down $1.08 yesterday and $1.35 the day before that. So now let's look at the dividend estimate. It all looks good. I was just making sure the formulas are up to date. Yeah, I mean, 89 cents for JEPY. Here's their old dividends. 50, 58, 60, 65, 76, 55, 46. That's, those are some of their pre-split prices. Anyway, 89 cents would be awesome. In this case, it's $2.68. Okay, so now we'll look at IWMY. All right, so these guys sold the 2105 strike, and they received $13 for it. I don't think we're going to have to draw the profit box. I appreciate your patience. Right now, this trade's underwater, though. The Russell's actually going down. NASDAQ's going up. They both can't be right. Which one do you guys think is right? Or they can both be right for a time anyway. They can run opposite directions for a time. All right. But obviously, people are liking tech a lot more than smaller stocks today. Okay, so these guys are underwater 634,000. This will make their fourth loss in a row. $1.76 down on the month. on an earnings per share basis. But of course, volatility's been jacked, so the dividend will be jacked. Sure enough, it's 285, which would be 95 in old shares, 96, something like that. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Well, that'll be interesting. Now, USOY. USOY has options that expire tomorrow. They wrote, I think, 1,600. Yeah, they wrote 1,670 strike options. They're puts in this case for $2.14. Price of oil has been pulling back, and you can see the managers have just been rolling their strike prices down as the price of oil comes down. So, all right, so let's see, what else do we have to look at? Okay, so let's look at my volatility model real quick. This is the graphic I've come up with. Makes me so mad. It took forever to develop it, and then I hit trash by mistake the other night, and there's no way to save this page that I can figure out. So anyway, as long as I don't hit trash again. So this really isn't that big of a deal. It's just something I like to follow. But I'm going to start showing it to you guys, or we have been. It's been pretty accurate so far. So the bigger boxes are longer term. This is a trend following system. So these are longer term trend following signals. So when it went from green to yellow back here on the 19th at 2:30 in the afternoon, it's actually low. It's actually a bad place to sell because we sold the low of the day, but still that they were right because the longer term time frame was saying bearish, and the shorter term time frame, which is these smaller boxes, are saying bearish. Now that's notwithstanding that no system's perfect, and this model actually got faked out and went positive on the 31st for an afternoon, but then it switched back to negative on the shorter term time frame. On the longer term time frame, solid red. Some people just ignore just only go with signals that align with the longer term time frame. So you would have ignored that. Okay, that's fine, but then you would have had to ignore this one also, where the market did rally. The SPY went from 530 to like 558 before it gave a signal the other direction. So that was a great signal. And this 558 signal has been awesome. Once again, it agrees with the longer time frame, but now the market's down here it hit a low of 539. Right now it's trading at 546. All right. So that's the model. It's double bearish right now. I'll let you know when it switches to bullish. Now I use a proprietary indicator that I developed, or proprietary rules-based system or methodology. So I need 2 of 3 things to fire to switch the time frame around. So the short-term time frame yesterday, when we started rallying, one of those 3 things triggered. Okay, so I was thinking, okay, maybe if the other one triggers, then I would have done a report. I would have said, okay, it looks like it's bullish now. But in any event, I just thought it might be interesting for people to see that it almost went long yesterday. The method almost went long yesterday, and I promised Tom and Derek, and I'll make a tape for other people too, a video that explains how this works. I just haven't felt like doing it. I'll try to do it this afternoon. If you guys are interested in it, but I had 2 subscribers that did want some details on it. So I'm sorry I haven't done that yet. All right. So that's that. So let's see what else we can do. Let's look at, let's see what's up the most and down the most. Down the most is crude oil. Go figure. And of course, USO is based on crude oil. It's an ETF that owns oil options, and it's down about the same. USOY getting hurt as well too, but look at all that buffer. USOY down 2.5% when USO's down 4%. I mean, that's not bad. It's not bad. You have exposure, indirect exposure to USO. You get a dividend every month, a pretty damn good dividend lately. And you track some of the upside, but you also only track some of the downside. so that this is really helpful here, not to be down 4%. Difference between 2.5% and 4% on a percentage basis is gigantic. Anyway, USOI doing a great job getting earning buffer, or they're doing a good job selling options to, at least, even though the market's going down, they can't help that, but they're doing a good job offsetting it to the extent they can. All right, then we have crash. That's the inverse Tesla down. So that would tell me that Tesla must be having a good day and must be up, but maybe that's probably part of the reason the NASDAQ's doing well. Yeah, sure enough, Tesla's up 2.97%. Out of the ones I follow, it's up the most. Wow. Then, of course, AMD's looking good. AMD's looking real good. Maybe this sell-off's over. The system, this thing, it gives the right signal eventually, but sometimes it's slow. I mean, who knows? Maybe the bottom's been made and maybe we've already turned around and started trending up. And then tomorrow my thing will say, give a thumbs up or whatever. But it's probably, what I'm thinking is it all depends on the numbers tomorrow. Right here we have, is it CPI or PPI? Well, that's for Amazon. Yeah, damn, that was a freaking like a June bug or something. Scare me. All right. Yeah, so tomorrow morning at 7:30 my time, 8:30 your time, we have economic numbers that could damn sure send the market one way or the other. And then on the 12th, we have PPI. And then Michigan consumer. That one probably won't be that big, but PPI and CPI can definitely move the market. So the thing that I will say, that the thing that's a clue, without making my entire video for Derek and Tom, I haven't decided if I'm going to release it to other people yet, but without making my entire video, I can tell you that the professionals still have their hedges on. So last week, in front of the number, or maybe it was a couple of weeks ago, you saw the hedges come off. It was actually last, I think it was just last, well, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to keep an eye on this, and we'll see them putting more hedges on or taking hedges off. If you're conspiratorial, you believe that these guys know what the number is and, or have a pretty good idea of it. So they try to position themselves in front of it. So, the fact that there's still long volatility, which means they have tons of protection. The protection's selling off a little bit today, but there's still plenty of it. So, all right. So what else can we do here? But yeah, go watch Corey's video. I'm on the SEC website trying to find the prospectus. Evidently, Jay filed a new prospectus. We've heard about it for years. I just haven't seen it. Jay, in my interview with him, he said he was going to file one, or they had filed one, but evidently it's out there somewhere. I saw people talking on Reddit about it, but I just looked on the SEC site and I can't find it. And then evidently Retire on Dividends was talking about it yesterday morning. Well, anyway, I'm going to get that prospectus. I'm going to look at what they're actually doing. It looks like I'm not even going to say it, but it looks like they're not even just doing spreads, and almost, I thought I saw a couple of calendar trades on there. So this could get really interesting. This could get really interesting. That's what Jay does for a living, and not necessarily so much him. What he does for a living is he runs his, multi-million-dollar business. But what those traders that work for him do, this is what they do. This is what they do. They're traders at the institutional level. It's such a difference from being a retail trader. There's so many more advantages, and they have such better training, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I'll make a video on the new prospectus as soon as I find it. If any of you guys have it, send it to me. Max's Momentum Market Model. Here's this speech I'm working on. You guys ever heard of auction market theory by a guy named Jim Dalton? That's what a lot of my stuff's based on. Guys, I really appreciate you being here. I'm sorry about the no update this morning, but at least the spreadsheets are up to date. It looks like the dividends are going to be good this month. Go watch Corey's video if you're interested in that. I wonder if there's those trades that they're making, like that Aptly trade was a great trade. I think a person could learn how to trade by doing what Corey's doing and learning how they do it. They because now that they've got into spreads are a whole different deal. But it's a great thing to learn. And okay, let me explain a spread to you. So you guys have heard of a covered call. You own stock and you sell a call. Okay, well, what they're doing now is they own stock, or they don't own stock. They own synthetics. But what they're doing now is they're selling. Well, it's the same thing SPY-T's doing. They're selling spreads, so they aren't totally capped. And what they're doing, like on the Aptly trade, they were short the 150 and they own the 155 or something. There was a 5-point spread, but then it also shows you their fill prices. And it's important. There's what professional traders know. There's a sweet spot, and I think you want to get. I've always been taught, but I may start watching them to see how they do it. That when you put on trades like that, you want to earn, to make it worth your while. You need to earn 1/3 of the difference between the strikes. So what's 1/3 of $5 is what, $1.50 or something, or $1.65 or something. But that's the whole idea. But what I like about it's just a great, knowing how to sell option spreads is a great skill for a retail trader to have, because you don't have to own the stock to still get some of that juicy call premium. You just follow a stock and follow the charts. And once you think it's topped out, you sell a call spread above it. Okay. And that has the effect. It's like doing a covered call, because you're selling a call. That's the same thing the covered call is. But instead of having to own the stock and tie up all that money, you just own another call that has the same effect as owning the stock, or it has not the same effect. The synthetic would have the same effect. I think just owning the other call has a better effect. Because you can't lose near as much. Anyway, I'll make some content on selling call spreads. Selling call spreads is a great thing to do. And anyway, it's what they're doing now. So we've always liked WiMAX. I would caution people that what's going to happen next is, if they keep doing this and they get good at it and they do it all the time, their dividends will go down. So, and I wonder if people will be pissed, because there are some people that are in it just for the high dividends, and that's all they care about. So, but if they keep doing spreads, the dividend will go down, but I believe the total return would go up. So I would caution everybody who's worried about the dividend possibly dropping to take a deep breath and let's give it a couple months. And I bet you the total return more than makes up for it. All right. All right, guys. So I appreciate you for being here. Leave me a comment if there's something I forgot to talk about or something. I guess we'll look at the freaking buffer report. I did the buffer report wasn't working a while ago. Okay, it is now. Okay, well, good. I'm glad I decided to look at that. Look at SPY-T outperforming the index. Badass. JEPY almost outperforming the index. SPY-I, iSpy, whatever. These guys are always good. ZIVB bouncing back today. KQQQ doing well. So the other standouts are QDTE. Nice job, QDT. So was there an overnight gap last night? Let's look at the chart. Usually when they outperform, it's as a result of an overnight gap up. The past couple of days, they've been underperforming because one day they had an overnight gap down, and so there was no overnight gap. It opened right where it closed. Whoa. I don't know. There was an overnight gap. There was an overnight gap. 54.72 to 54.84 is just 12 points on 5,000. But whatever that ratio is, it's probably 10 bips or something. Well, what I just say, it's probably 3 bips or something. But or maybe 30 bips. But anyway, whatever that ratio is, these guys will, or whatever that extra is, these guys will get credit for it when you compare their returns to JEPY, to a fund that was capped all night. So it's really interesting to look at this stuff. And then this day they got a huge benefit from an overnight gap. All right, so now let's look at this. I have a chart that's trying to show that to everybody. Still trying to figure out how to make it most presentable, but all right, so this is the cumulative change for the month, and this is for the index. Look at the index, down 3.52% on the month. ZIVB, was down 9%. It's coming back today. It's only down 7.73% because it's roaring back today, but it had it has a rough go whenever you have a volatility event, as does Theta. It lost 2.5 points all of a sudden. So did SVOL. SVOL lost about 3%. But it looks like you could pretty safely say ZIVB is about 3 times as risky as SVOL. Just be aware of that. It's the last time it dropped about 3 times as much as SVOL. Either worries me. What worries me, so you have a market that dropped 5%, or the market dropped 3% this day, and these guys were down 9%. If the market drops 20% like during COVID, I think it, I don't know what it could do to a fund like ZIVB. I don't know if the rebalance would take it under. I think SVOL is a lot more prudent, but I get why ZIVB is tempting. All right, so in any event, let's look over here at XDTE, and we can see them fire back. Yeah, so they went way down. They were down 2.68%. Okay. But then they came firing back, and this one day they made 1.2%, which is huge for a covered call fund. But the reason they made that much is because 5410 to, so 37 points on 5,000. I don't know. I used to be good in math. But whatever that comes to is extra money they got and their shareholders got that the JEPY shareholders did not get. The counter to that is JEPY pays twice as much dividends. So, I mean, it's your choice. There's no free lunch. I was just checking this out today. 72%. I guess it just shows the most recent payment. And and just calculates that as if it was a year, but that's just absolutely insane. But I've often said before, no one needs to make 72%. Okay, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. Is 36 fine too? If the QDT funds make about half that, hell yeah, it's fine. It's up to you. It's up to you guys. All right, this time I really will let you go. Have a great day.